And then eventually, there's this whole campaign that we did, which was like, see, sirf Mama Earth kyun hai, Papa Earth kahan hai? Right? And people actually took it very seriously, and it went viral because people like, Papas bhi to utna hi pyar karte hain, to Papa ke liye kyun nahi products banaoge? And then from a formulation point of view, of course, it wasn't like we were putting anything specific in mothers' ka shampoo and body wash that could not be used by fathers. So
Absolutely.
we said that, we'll not have that division. It's going to be a unisex brand, divided into baby care segment and adult care segment. In baby care, we have everything from shampoo, lotions to diapers, wipes. In adults, we are into skincare, baby care, skincare, body care, hair care. So almost everything, right? Everything personal care, and that's what we've been doing, I think, till today. There's no change as such. We made a lot of mistakes. We launched a lot of wrong products also. Eventually, I think in the first year itself, after about 6 months, and मैंने बड़ा काम किया था, and I was very confident. I said, mamas को तो lactation problem भी होती है, acidity problem भी होती है. We got into crafting this beautiful blends of tea, right? I still remember going outside of India, understanding कैसे blends work करते हैं, क्या ingredients lactation में. I did more research and work there compared to crafting, lotions and body washes for the adults. And launch करने के 3 महीने में मुझे realize हुआ that this is a disaster, right? And the only thing that I learned then was it's all about displacement and not distance. If I have to move from there to there, right, I could directly move here, or I could take a tour of the room and move there, right? The result is the same. I could have achieved that. And जब आप start कर रहे होते हो, it's all about how do you grow revenues, right? How do you grow as a business?
Correct.
And we had given ourselves 1 year's time to raise money and to get to a certain level of revenue, because if we were not able to do that, we should have ideally fallen back to our jobs to ensure that the kids' life doesn't get disrupted, right? So in that churn, made a lot of such mistakes, got into wrong categories. पूरा घूम के काम करके product launch किया, वो फिर भी वहाँ पे नहीं आया. And then realized that, has to be... and the only thing was that consumers got confused, right? They were like, we look at you from a personal care angle.
Right.
We won't be okay buying... why should they buy medicines from us? It just doesn't make sense. And medicines is something, or acid relief or something that it's food, right? आप तो personal care थे, आप food में क्यों कर रहे हो या कैसे कर रहे हो? And those questions हमने पहले नहीं पूछे, हमें बाद में पूछे, तो हमें realize हुआ कि that this was the wrong decision that we took. Corrected that, closed that train, shut it down, felt really bad, cribbed for 2 months कि इतना काम किया था, इतना effort डाला था, but also realized that it's not the efforts but the results that make all the difference, and at the end of it you get measured by results.
Right, and it's like always what's right for the company, like, company before, the mission before anything else.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Very, very, very interesting. And, it seems like it's checkboxing a lot of advice that founders are given, right? Like identifying something where founder market fit hai ki nahi, something that you feel so closely with. Otherwise, वो deep insights कहाँ से आएंगी?
Actually, उसके बाद ही हमें पता चला था there's something called product market fit. While हमने launch करते हुए कर लिया था वो by setting up that small little table outside the store, but तब तक मुझे term नहीं पता था कि product market fit कुछ होता है. This when we launched teas, investors asked, what's the PMF? And I was in the boardroom and looking left, right, and center. What the hell is PMF? How am I supposed to answer this question? And the only thing I said was, that's another thing. See, I don't come from a business background. I don't come from a business school. I had no idea what a P&L is, what a full form of P&L is, or what a product market fit. इसको ये होता क्या है? Like, I had absolutely no clue. The only thing that, first year I pretended. Bada common dialogue. Fake it till you make it. I faked it a lot, right? As like trying to come across smarter, trying to come across as... And by the way, my husband did know all of these things, right? It's just your learning curve versus his learning curve was so different. That's where I respect business schools. I respect people who take training before starting up. You don't come across as a fool, but the way I did. in front of investors, I used to pretend a lot. And until, this one conversation with one of my favorite investors who invested really early on. And he was like, what you bring to the table is being a mother and an innovator. The kind of ideas that you're talking about, मैंने किसी और brand को कभी इसके बारे में बात करते हुए नहीं सुना है. And that's your strength, right? So that's the favorite dialogue of mine. Work on your strengths rather than working on your weaknesses, right? If you don't know PMF, तो openly पूछना boardroom में PMF क्या होता है. And I think after that, I realized that it makes much more sense to be real and authentic. नहीं आता तो नहीं आता यार, सूली पे थोड़ी चढ़ा दोगे, सीख लेंगे. That's what we did, right? I have learned it all by being in it, being in the job. I think my whole life has been such. And I'm very, very proud of that fact. कि यार अगर मुझे कोई term नहीं आती या कोई English का word नहीं समझ में आएगा ना, I will ask you. Till today, in the meetings, when somebody talks acronyms, I hate acronyms. I'm like, why can't you use full form? It just ends up being so, simple. It just simplifies a lot of things and reduces a lot of questions. And now my team understands that. They will always come to me and talk about like actual stuff, real words, rather than all of these business terms. आती हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. You just sound so intelligent. I'm telling you, it's kind of hot. It's not funny, right? But अगर नहीं आती, that's absolutely okay.
Very, very interesting. And Ghazal, in those early days, how did you think, like if I talk about the GTM, then versus now, like in terms of, the brands, other brands existed, like you said, there were so many other brands which have been there for decades, if not centuries in some cases. So figuring out, which product to launch, then what price to keep them at, or what are the customer touch points. जैसे आपने बोला कि distribution offline का तो option नहीं था, because, the amount of money that would need, or the shopkeepers were sort of shooing you away. So launching it online versus offline, and which cities to launch in, etc. So how did you make those decisions? Was it, what research went into that?
We did not do any research or study around it, right? पता ही नहीं था कि करना क्या है, क्या limited options थी. Offline तो option ही नहीं था. पैसे नहीं थे. To be very honest, margins pay करने के लिए पैसे नहीं थे. And we were exploring this world of digital, right? Where we were awed by what Amazon was doing. That, we listed ourselves on Amazon. Suddenly आपका वो एक product pan India available है. It doesn't matter दिल्ली में कितने customers आपको खरीदेंगे या गुड़गांव में कितने customers आपको खरीदेंगे. जिस city से जो भी बंदा उस product से relate कर पा रहा है can actually order your product and buy it. I think that is what gave us a lot of confidence in this online digital first model. And we're like, this is the way to go. Sitting in one place, I can actually target consumers anywhere in the country. It doesn't matter, all you need are your first 1,000 loyal consumers to start your journey. And if you get those first 1,000 consumers, after that, it's easier because your pixel gets trained, it's targeting the right kind of customers, it's finding the customers for you. It comes with a cost, that's okay, but that was okay back then, right? It was way easier because all you had to do was PMF, product market fit, that you have consumers for this particular proposition that you were selling, and after that you will eventually work on unit economics and everything else, right? So I think that was the only way for us. We did not understand D2C. We are, like I said, our website did not have a shopping cart for the first 8 months. But we also realized that limiting ourselves to marketplaces was very good to sell our products, but we were not getting access to our consumers, right? And that was very important, at least for us back then. To talk to the consumers was where the entire brand got crafted. And we're like, as we have to scale, this is the most important thing. And that data you get when you're selling from your own website.
Right.
So I think after first 6 months is when the first time we added a shopping cart. It was a very, very, very simple website with very limited products back then. As we started selling, as we started talking to the consumers, the feedback and the insights that we were getting started making a lot more sense, were more coming from a person who's going to invest his money into buying you, those insights are very different from, just preachy insights that you should be doing this. And I realized that the two actually had their own importances. So I think that's how we started the D2C website in 2017. And after that, I don't think there was any looking back. We were very sure that marketplaces and our own website is the only way to go. We kept small milestones, right? From first 100 consumers to first 1,000 consumers to 5,000. And that's the kind of goals that we had set for ourselves.